Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well. Thank you. Lovely to
Good,
be here again with you.
good, good. Anka, there's nothing that hurts more than a sense of the people that we care about, that we're talking to, just aren't listening to us. And even though we think we should outgrow something like that, we never do. We always want to be listened to and we want to be heard. But sometimes when we dialogue, what's his name? Nichols. Let me just check his. Michael Nichols says a great thing. He says it's almost like an electric cord that's been cut, but you expect the electricity to go through and the lights to light up. And that's what happens when we don't listen. It's that cord that's been cut, and there isn't always a connection. And it leaves us with a very sad and unfulfilled feeling.
That's
What
true.
are your thoughts?
Like when you were describing that, I'm like, oh, story of my life. No, it's like, I mean, honestly, like as a child, I really felt like that kind of all the time. And I actually I think I learned to talk slowly during coach training. I would always talk really fast because I knew I only had a split second of attention. Right? So you kind of try and cram as much in as possible. But there's definitely that sense that, oh boy, they should know me better. They kind of like there was this sense like my parents like they didn't even like yeah, you know. I always thought as a child like they don't know me at all, you know,
Hmm.
because they kind of knew what the kid knew or did. I mean, they weren't evil or anything, right? They were just, they thought, see, that's the thing. We're back in the assumption mill, right? So they thought they knew. They thought they knew, oh, the kid won't notice. The kid won't notice. Like, well, out of sight, out of mind. So they really had a sort of a misunderstanding around like how much the kid actually picked up, and so yeah, that's a very familiar feeling, that's for sure.
That's
Yeah.
very beautiful the way you're saying you felt unseen and unheard as a child,
Hmm.
and that often happens when we want to get heard, and you speed up to kind of get it in when you get the opportunity. The interesting thing is how that shows up in your adult life.
Hmm.
That adaptation to not feeling heard or known. Would you care to share how that shows up when you're having a conversation in your adult life today?
Well, see, I don't know what happened with the with the feeling. It's like I think, like I really noticed when I did coach training that this whole world of hearing and being heard should change. And I find the more I focus on listening, the more I actually feel heard.
That's beautiful. Tell me
Right?
more
It's
about
like
that. That's very interesting.
like when I don't when I sort of just relax into the situation and I'm not sitting there waiting to kind of say something, when I'm just like, you know, and all
I
of a
love that.
sudden it feels like opportunities to speak come up, right? But
Beautiful.
I'm not sitting here the whole time waiting for a moment to shove something in there,
Right,
right?
you're
So I
not
think
thinking
it's a
about the
whole
next thing
different,
you can say.
yes, it's a
Sorry.
whole different experience.
Right. You're sitting there and you're giving the other person your entire presence,
Hmm.
and then in essence responding to what's come up between you, which is
Yeah.
really beautiful. So that's also another point, that very often listening isn't about dialoguing. It's you're going to say what you need to say, and I'm just going to listen. I don't want to fix. I don't want to withdraw from you. I just want to listen. And when you're done, then it can be my turn, especially in conflict, in difficult conversations,
Yeah.
to set those ground rules. This is how I'd like you to listen to me. I don't want
Hmm.
you to fix anything. I just want you to listen.
I think that's really hard. I think Gali put something around the topic the other day, right? It is hard, especially as sort of helper souls. There's always this temptation, but that's the thing. It's like nobody likes it done to them. Like nobody likes to be fixed. You know, like when you just want to share something, the last thing I want is somebody to go, oh, well, you should do this. It's like just like, yeah, you're not really asking for a fix or advice. And I think it's so easy to forget that actually also works for the other person. Like when the tables are turned, right?
Right. And you can notice that people don't necessarily want to be fixed when you offer advice and they say, no, well, I've tried that, or no, that wouldn't work for me. But yet you persist. There must be a solution here. When really is by them being allowed to express their thoughts without a judgment or a pressure to be fixed, they get clarity themselves of what they need to do or what they'd like to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that I've really had the luxury of learning about and experienced during coach training, right? Because I was like, that's the thing. It's like you don't know about it before you even go into look into this direction and go into this world. You have no idea. So you just kind of go about your life the best way you can. And then you have these, these exercises and co-coaching and whatever, and then you experience it. Like when you're the one being coached, but also when you literally have the task to zip it. Right? You're not allowed to, like I remember there were literally exercises where you're not allowed to speak. Or the only thing you were allowed to say was a question. Right? But you weren't allowed to just blast your opinion in there. And then to see the other person in front of you literally transforming, because as they're talking, all of a sudden they're like, oh wait, yeah, it's beautiful.
They're getting their own insights.
So much more relaxing, so much easier.
And it's interesting how you say that you had to learn these skills in a training. And that's so true. We aren't often taught. As you say, when you were a child, you didn't feel heard. So where would you know the skill of listening? You only know that you needed to be heard.
Yeah.
And then as an adult, possibly not allowing space for anyone else to be heard because you needed to get your thing in.
And ask my friends, like, she won't stop talking. Yep.
and then we want to talk, but we don't necessarily know how to listen because we weren't taught that skill. And when people say, you've got to work on relationships, I say, what is the work? That is the work. The work is, can I listen to you and can I hear what it is you have to say without being threatened and defensive?
Yeah. I actually saw an Instagram post the other day that I thought it's an account called Language Nerds. I really enjoy it. And they are basically saying they say, well, instead of teaching people more languages, people should be taught to shut up in their own every
I love it. I think I saw that. It was very funny. I also saw a beautiful cartoon of a couple sitting outside, two couples sitting outside a restaurant on a pavement talking, and the one saying, I believe you're working on your marriage. Are you doing that or is somebody else doing that for you? And I think that's very true, that is part of the work, and it's learning how to communicate better so that we can.
And let go of thinking I think that's, again, it's like we're coming back to the assumptions, because I think there's a big pitfall in there. It's like when you think there's a saying, and I always forget who it's from. It's like, it's not what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that simply ain't so. Like it isn't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that simply ain't so.
And it simply ain't so. Beautiful.
So, but that, I think, is quite often when you think is when you stop listening. Right. Because when you think there's something that you don't know, that then you're like, wait, and you're actually paying attention. The moment you think you kind of switch off.
Right.
And I think that's really what my parents did. That's all my parents did. It wasn't they didn't, they were like, oh, we're gonna, mess around that kid, and like, no, it's just they just thought they knew,
Exactly. And that's very beautiful, because if we remain curious, even within
Mm.
our relationships where we think we know the other so well, if we keep that curiosity, if we take just a few minutes of silence when our partner shares his or her day with us, we'll see that it actually draws us closer together. That is part of intimacy. Any last words, Anka?
Let's just shut up then.
Thank you so
Let's
much
just
for
shut
being
up
here
and
again
listen.
today.